Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm going to be talking about how I qualified for state at Regionals Section 1 Mae Simmons Park for 4A. However, before I talk about my regionals race, I'm going to explain the journey that had to happen before I was able to get to that point. Now, if you wanted to get some research on the course ahead of your race, then I will leave a timestamp probably right around here so that you can go ahead and skip and do your research. And I might do a couple of shoutouts at the end. So, with that in mind, let's get to it.
Shut up and sit down.
Now, before I could go to regionals, I needed to qualify for it. And the way to do that was to run at the district meet that happened 2 weeks before. So there were two ways I could qualify to go to regionals. One was if my team placed in the top 3 overall in that district, which they did, they got second. Or the top 10 overall individuals could also qualify for district. I also qualified through that because I got first. So we hosted the district meet at our home course. But before district, we did a kind of race before that called Thrill the Hill, because there were 2 major hills and the final one being the thrill of the hill. Now, coming down the first hill, I knew that it was going to be a battle to the end between me and the 2 other guys for the W.
Faster, not harder.
So as you can see, it's a very close race for pretty much the entirety of it. Now, going up the final hill, Me and the guy in white and red, or also known as Bridgeport, we had broken away from the other guy in the green, and so it was between me and him. So I beat him going up the hill, but then he caught back up to me, and he stayed behind me, and he out-sprinted me at the very end. Man, that still leaves a sour taste. Good news is, I know what I did wrong. The middle of my race wasn't as fast as it should have been. So a good way to fix that was, for me personally, just going harder. Woo! Now, I don't have video for this race, except for the very end, because the GoPro fell off of the cart, so this thing, it was clipped to the back of the cart that you saw previously, but it fell off going up the first hill, and I was so inclined of not losing it that I actually went back to try and pick it up. So that went well, but it's fine. It's still a little rough on the edges, but it held up.
Go, Jacoby! All the way! All the way!
So with a successful plan and a gold medal, I was happy. Also, shout out to Miley McGinn, who won the 8th grade girls for the junior high meet in a time of 13:32. And here's a fun fact. Nobody in the high school divisions broke 14 on the women's side. So she's pretty fast. And once again, I would like to shout out the cross-country team. The boys' side for varsity got 2nd place, and the varsity girls also got 2nd for their team placement. And thank you to everybody who went out and supported us. It means a lot every time you guys shout for us. So now, after district, me and my dad tried to figure out another way to train for regionals. And so we found a method that worked for district, and that method was tempo training. And pretty much what that is keeping a steady cadence or steps per minute throughout the entire race. And as you can see through this video, it looks like that I am not running really fast, but that's actually 5:08 pace. And so with this new training in my legs, I was feeling more confident for regionals. Well, that was until I thought I was going to die, because while we were driving over in our shuttle bus, the right side of our bus seemed to explode. Now, it wasn't actually an explosion, we just had a tire blowout, but we were kind of stranded on the side of the highway for a couple of hours. And so we eventually got to our hotel around 12 and got in bed at a decently late hour. So that was a little frightening. However, we got there safe, thank goodness. And now I'm going to be talking about the race itself. Mae Simmons Park starts off with about a 400 to 600 meter straightaway. Now, you have two options. You can either go your pace and be a little bit trapped in the back or the middle of the pack, or you can go and get out a little faster than everybody else and try to get in front, because you will not really be able to pass anybody going up the long uphill that you can see. Now this uphill stretches back across to where you can see the flags in the background. Now, if you go back a few seconds in the video, you will see a pathway that is on top of the hill. That is where you run after you hook back around from that uphill. And so the pathway, pretty much all the pathways are fine. It's just very concentrating to not run into anybody, because it's very tight around the uphill, so be careful for that. After you come up the hill and go across that straightaway, you will turn left, and then there is going to be a downhill slope for about another 200 meters. There is a little of a sharp turn to the left again, to where you then go and merge onto a bridge, to which, after you cross that bridge, that is when you either, if you're a boy running, you will do 2 loops around the course, or you will just do 1 loop if you're a girl. Take note that you turn left at this fork if you've completed your first loop. After you've completed your second loop, you turn right, and that's where you head to the finish line. Alright, so you've got done running down the downhill, and now you are going to turn on a metal bridge, and then you turn right to go for a straightaway for another 300 meters, and then you're going to turn left, and that is going to be a curb drop-off, so it's just going to be like the curbs here, there's a street here, and then there's another curb, and then that's the end, to where then you go up a slow uphill. That's a little windy, but then after you get up it, it is a flat dirt straightaway from there, and then you come back down it, then you run by a river trail, and for a little bit, and then either you go make your second loop, or you go to the final stretch, which is, if you go to the final stretch, you go back across the bridge, down into a little dip, and then the final straightaway. So there is my in-depth analysis. My thoughts on the race were pretty much just trying to maintain form. It is a very energy-draining course. I felt that pretty much after the first uphill, and actually when I crossed the line, I didn't know if I made state because I knew it was going to be close, but I didn't know. I knew that, so the top 10 individuals would qualify, but here's what's cool for regionals. To qualify for state, they take the top 4 teams out, and all the top 4 teams who made it to state are done, like all of them. That includes the individuals who are also in the top 10. So, like, in my case, I placed 19th overall, but they took 12 people out because those 12 people were a part of one of the 4 top teams. So instead of getting 19th overall, I got 7th individually, therefore making me eligible for state. It was a really hard race, and it was down to the wire. I ended up beating the Bridgeport kid, take that, but the Mineral Wells kid, who I beat for district, beat me. So it was a lot of good talent, and Canyon did super good. And yeah, it was a really fun race. One of the most painful experiences I've had. And yeah, and that concludes this video. Wait, since you guys have begged me for it, I guess I will do shoutouts. And if I forget that you asked me to, then that's too bad. You should have texted me. So that's on you. But anyway, shout out to Bella Wade, Sophia Slabby, Gracie Pisano, Hannah Darrington, Adelaide Hirschman, Cooper Rudd, Cooper Doty, let's see who else, Katie Heller, Blake Tidwell, Rachel Wade, and I think that's all I can remember. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. It was actually a new experience because I was using iMovie to edit my YouTube videos, but now I am trying to use Final Cut Pro, so it's definitely a learning curve, but I hope it is one that I'll be able to navigate well. Anyhow, I'm gonna sign off. Run fast and stay vigilant.